Florida's role in the Civil War has not been examined as extensively as other southern states. Florida is the forgotten state of the Confederacy. Even during the war, one southern newspaper called it the smallest tadpole in the dirty pool of secession. Although Florida sent many of its sons to fight the war, Florida's greatest contribution was the production of goods and food supplies for the troops. Salt production was one of its greatest contributions. St. Andrews did its part by supplying the army with salt and other goods. The area was also a favorite of blockade runners because of its many saltwater bays, inlets, and waterways. March 20th, 1863, Captain Walter J. Robinson of the Confederate States Army, 1st Battalion, Florida Infantry, and his company of 29 men engaged in a skirmish with an 11-man reconnaissance group from the USS Bark Roebuck.
This report to Major W. W. Scott, Confederate States Army, 1st Battalion, Florida Infantry, of March 22nd, 1863. I proceeded to the town of St. Andrews on the 19th instant with a lieutenant, sergeant, and 20 men. Arriving just before night, I encamped. Yesterday morning, March 20th, about 10:30 o'clock, the enemy came into the bay in a launch on which was mounted a brass howitzer, I think a 12-pounder, and landed an armed party consisting of an officer and 9 men, 2 remaining in the boat. They formed and marched down the beach, the boat keeping opposite them. I formed my men and, taking advantage of a bluff, charged within 75 yards of them before we were discovered. Being the stronger party, I ordered them to surrender, which they refused to do, but attempted to get on their boat. I ordered my men to fire and brought down 4 or 5. We charged into the water after them about waist deep, which brought us within their musket range from their boat, and our firing was so hot they could not board, but were killed. The men on the boat tried to fire their cannon, but were so badly wounded they were not able to do so. They finally lowered their flag and asked for quarter. I immediately ordered my men to cease firing. They then asked permission to pick up their wounded and drowning, which was granted. They got 2 on board, the ballots had sunk, and were then nearly out of range. They hoisted sail and escaped with boat. We had no boat to board them, and the water was too deep to wade. There were but 3 men in the boat able to sit up, and one of them was shot from his seat as they went off. One escaped in the woods, and we were able to capture him. I do not think a single man escaped unhurt, as we could see from the blood that the other 2 that remained in the boat were seriously wounded. We got their flag, 4 mini muskets, 3 cartridge boxes, 3 bayonets, also 1 pair of oars. I should have taken the boat, but for their begging quarter. Please accept the captured flag, captured at the skirmish in St. Andrews. Captain Walter J. Robinson, Company A, 11th Florida Infantry.
St. Andrews Bay, March 20th, 1863. Sir, I have to inform the department that this morning I sent the launch of this vessel with an armed crew of 11 men up the bay on reconnaissance. The boat returned at 2 o'clock p.m., the crew having been attacked by a guerrilla party of over 50 men and met the following losses. Killed, Thomas King, seaman. Ralph B. Snow, ordinary seaman. Mortally wounded: Acting Master James Folger, Robert Wilkes, Captain of Forecastle, Andrew C. Snyder, Lordsman. Slightly wounded: Charles Sweet, Landsman, George H. French, Ordinary Seaman. The body of Ralph B. Snow was not brought off. Thomas Wiley, Ordinary Seaman, and James Kitchen, Landsman, deserve much credit for bringing the boat off safely when nearly all the rest of the crew were killed or wounded. Very respectfully, your obedient servant, John Sherrill, Acting Master, U.S. Navy, Commanding U.S. Bark Roebuck.
The U.S. bark Roebuck took the remaining landing party aboard and continued through the East Pass. The Roebuck continued to serve the blockade station for St. Andrews Bay until August of 1863, when it sailed back to Key West to be reassigned. Captain Walter J. Robinson continued his service in the Home Guard in Mariana and participated in the Battle of Mariana in September of 1864.